Hi, this is Josh, Northwest 99XJ, from Electrical and Audio Tips, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Good evening. This is episode 146 of the XJ Talk Show, and my name is Tony. This is the pre-show. We usually get started about 15 minutes before showtime, the official start time of 10 p.m. Central Time. We don't always get started at 10 p.m., but if you've been here before, you already know that. If you're watching this live tonight, thank you for joining us. If you're watching the YouTube video and you'd like to skip the pre-show, go about 15 minutes in, and that's where the show should start. If you see my and Josh's shiny faces, that's the show. If you see the logo, the XJ Talk Show logo, that's probably the pre-show or the post-show. So you either haven't gone far enough or you've gone too far. Josh will be joining us here momentarily, and you'll hear Josh and I discussing the show and what we're going to be doing tonight. Timing, segment, arranging, yada, yada, yada. Also, too, we have a new deal that we're doing. I think we tried this once in the past. We're going to make it a regular thing where we have on the xjtalkshow.com website, we'll have the video, the live video, at the top of the page, and just under the video is a chat room where you can chat with Josh and I as we have time, and anybody else that's watching the show live. The chat can be a fun thing unto itself. So sit back, enjoy some music, and we'll be going here with the rest of the show in just a minute.
I've gathered all my human force to help you save yourself. Listen to me, stay by my side, believe in me. I swear that despite any strife, I won't give up, it is my fate. I will not let you spoil your life. This path could well be all you get. I pray the gods I know that cares. For you are not everyone's free. Alive at last in my embrace, on the right side of sanity.
And Josh has joined us, or Joyce has joined us. That's horrible. That would explain the yellow skin color, though.
Joyce is jaundice.
So let me adjust the Skype microphone output.
I am so woefully behind on everything. I've got to apologize. I haven't done squat other than prepare that one segment, which should be uploading as we speak.
Well, some elves came in and made some changes. That's strange. I wonder why the music stopped. Obviously, I hit something. Anyway, some little elves came in and worked on the show notes. So should just be a matter of plugging in the This Week in Jeep stories.
Which I don't have yet.
We ain't got no?
We do not have any This Week in Jeep.
Oh.
Yes, I know.
I thought other elves provided that for us.
Not as often as you'd think.
Well, we got time, so don't break anything. I'm assuming you're going to find some.
I still got to get the promo going. Come on.
wave at me when you want to be unmuted. So if you guys are just joining us, we are doing something new on the xjtalkshow.com website, where we have the live streaming video and a chat room. So if you go over to xjtalkshow.com, you will see, after you press the play button, you'll see the live show, hear the live audio, and be able to chat in the little chat box below the live video. You may have to plug in a name, something colorful, I'm sure. Maybe not something colorful. Maybe it'll just be John or Steve or Phil. But whatever you'd like to be called. Woman struck by Jeep. Woman survives. Jeep, not so much. Never cool to make fun of the injured. Come on, computer. I do hate it whenever you go to a website and then they bring something, they make the whole screen darker, like it's a brain fog or something. And then they come up and say, subscribe to me, please. If I was subscribed to you, I would not have to be prompted to do so. You're just slowing me down. Josh is busy doing some editing, and he's you can hear some the background noise that was coming through, so I muted his mic, which we also have to do when he's bad. Although many people would like to hear Josh's utterances when he's bad. Not so much his mom, though. His mom doesn't enjoy it at all. Why were you bad, Joshy? Why were you bad? Oh, no. No good deed should go unpunished. You guys will know more about it if Josh chooses this as one of the stories in This Week in Jeep. So, Josh, I've stuck several things into the This Week in Jeep thingy. One extremely short, but, I think it's notable. And, pick and choose what you like. If you got something else that you'd like to read in there instead, more than happy to let you read something else. But just grabbed a few quick things that I did a search for. No, your computer's not broke. Josh is not speaking. Still got him muted. He hasn't done the wave of unmute me wave. It's usually two hands and there's a gun involved. This little ditty is by Tom Rapp. It's called What a Jeep. Albany passerbys ride a Jeep that rolled on Madison Avenue. Albany passerbys helped right a Jeep that rolled over on Madison Avenue Wednesday afternoon. The driver, a 22-year-old woman, pretty much had to be, right, the 22-year-olds is what I'm referring to, was eastbound on Madison when an accident occurred at 2:30 p.m. on Quail Street. She went to switch lanes and struck a parked vehicle. Oh my God. And said Albany Police spokesman Steve Smith, she had rolled over onto the driver's side. A group of passerbys then helped right the SUV. He said, I wonder which one she was driving. Anyway, Timothy Roberts was one of the men who lifted the Jeep. I was right behind her, Roberts said. All of a sudden, she just smashed into the red car and flipped that whole truck on its side. The Rotterdam resident works for Albany real estate firm that shows apartments. He was working when the Jeep Grand Cherokee hit the parked car and tipped over in front of him. He got out of his car, went to help, and a handful of other guys joined him, and together they turned the Jeep back upright. The driver injured her left arm, was treated at Albany Fire Department by Albany Fire Department medics, and taken to Albany Medical Center Hospital. Police did not release her name. Well, yeah, I'm sure that would be a bit embarrassing. So I guess Jeeps do still flip. You got to work at it, but they still do. I mean, on the road. Let's check the chat room. So I'm going to refresh and see if anything magically appears in the chat room. Because when I first got in it, there was nothing there. Yeah, see, I refreshed it, and now I see that Grim Jeeper is typing in. Why isn't this working? He says, Grim Jeeper says, come chat with me. I'm so lonely. He's got some weird letters in uppercase at the end of that name. It's, I don't know. Naxja. I don't know what the hell that means. Josh is grinning like he knows. Is it okay to unmute your mic, Josh? Yeah, you have to use hand signals because I can't hear you. You know how that works, right?
Unmute, please.
I'm going to close everything up and turn the really bright hot light on, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to try typing something here in the chat room. Let's see, what would be very original? I know, test. Okay, now I saw that. So now I'm going to refresh and see if somebody else had, maybe Grim Jeeper had typed something else in that I have not, that I do not see until I refresh. Yeah, this is a piece of crap. This chat room is a piece of crap. I'm going to have to get a different piece of software because I have to refresh the damn screen to see what people are typing.
No bueno.
Not at all.
And I don't know if it's my computer or if it's the interwebs or what, but the last 2 days, man, it's just been running slow as hell.
Pretty sure it's Obama.
Well, there's a bunch of stuff going on right now about net neutrality, and there were several companies that participated in bandwidth choke down to sort of give people an insight as to what things would be like if net neutrality ended up becoming a reality.
Or no net neutrality. Net neutrality is what we want.
Yeah. Come on, mute.
I think it has a lot to do with companies wanting to control the internet, like because if you can't control it, you can't make any money off of it. So they want to try to figure out a way to get the FCC to put things in such a way so that they can control and make money off of it. Because I mean, can you imagine what the world would be like if free and open communication worldwide would be a reality? Oh, we've been experiencing that, and that's why we have podcasts and all this choice and all these crappy shows, but also too shows that you might not otherwise get, simply because you don't have to go through the process of jumping through hoops to try to prove to somebody that probably has no talent of their own about whether your show sees the light of day. So instead of people like you and I deciding what we want to see, we get limited to a very few choices, which means we get only get what they want to serve us, and that means that they get paid a lot of money being the middleman.
All right, I think I'm about as prepared as we're gonna get for tonight without going too woefully late. Already 10 after, and we've got This Week in Jeep and everything else up there. So as long as you've got the opener and the other thing that I sent through the Dropbox, then I think we should be good to go.
No, I have not got the opener. So let me grab that. So it was 15A last week, so it's 14A this week, right?
Was it 15A last week? I thought it was 13. Crap.
No, it's 15A. It's still on my board. It's still in the intro. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right ones, because there's a 15 there and I was going to get the 14.
Let me double check what I put in there then. I'm second guessing myself.
Well, as long as it's not the one that we used last week, it should be fine.
It's not the one we used last week. I'm just worried that was the one we used the week before, but come on, you can do it. There we go.
And I don't recall where you had your the other thing that I was going to get.
The main XJ Talk folder. That was 12, so we should be good with that one.
Oh, there it is.
All right, I'm going to close that because I don't need to have anything more open than I absolutely need. Okay, that ought to do it. Close you, leave you open, open that.
So somebody posted up a picture of one of the first responder vehicles in the Twin Tower collapse. I believe it was the Twin Tower collapse. It was a Jeep Cherokee police vehicle.
Cool. Way cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, look worse than any rollover you've ever seen, but similar damage.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Was that on the Facebook or?
Yep, that was on XJ Talk Facebook.
Popped in there a couple times today, but I didn't mess around. I'm pretty tight on time today.
Yeah, so the same thing's happening for Grim Jeeper. Can't see what I type until he does a refresh. So, boy, what a bunch of crap. Just lost power. Okie dokie. So popped the breaker twice. Had to go out there and flip it twice, and both times the main system here shut down. So that makes it even longer to get things going again. So power goes off again. I'm running an extension cord to someplace else in the house.
Just let me by your side. Don't go deeper, don't please. girls I know that cares. For you were not everyone's free. Alive at last in my embrace. On the right side of sanity. Beware you're being pulled under. You'll soon be out of breath. Take my hand or you'll go deeper and contemplate your death. Your willingness or absence of will make the difference. I've gathered all my human force to help you save yourself. Listen to me, stay by my side, believe in me. I swear that despite any strife, I won't give up, it is my fate. I will not let you spoil your life. This could well be all you get. I pray the gods I know that cares. For you are not everyone's free. Alive at last in my embrace. On the right side of sanity.
Well, are we all fixed?
Well, breaker popped twice, so I wouldn't say it's all fixed. It's on for now.
We may have to find a different solution for that light.
Wouldn't be so bad if the main computer here didn't quit shutting down.
Oh, yeah.
$200 UPS, and it instantly turns off because of the software, the way the software is configured. So I just turned the shit off. Yeah, I don't know what else to do other than if it goes off again, I'll go get the extension cord and run a line to another plug in the house for this light. Make sure that we are broadcasting. It says we're live. Good. We've got people waiting on us. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Never like having the breaker pop, but if you saw the amount of crap I got in this room all plugged into the outlets, you would shudder. If you work for the fire department, you'd write me up. You look like you're still working on something, Josh.
Just in chat.
Oh, okay.
So let's get this thing going.
I am not able to understand you. How about now?
There, that's much better.
I'm hearing some weird artifacts on you.
That's weird. We could try a different connection.
Sounds like a tin can.
Oh, that's definitely no good.
Mm-mm.
All right, hold on. All right, now, how now, brown cow?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First your side, then my side. What's going on here?
Well,
You're infecting me.
There's a little bit of jitter in your video, so it might be that bandwidth slowdown you're talking about.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Got that max headroom thing to.
Yeah. So I guess we can give it a try and see if we can get through this.
Yeah, let's give it a shot, see what happens.
So guys, if you didn't already know, we're having some technical difficulties tonight, and we're going to forge ahead, and hopefully we'll be able to make it through this evening. We've been fairly fortunate not having technical difficulties while the show is going on, the primary part of the show. So hopefully we'll see that again tonight.
The XJ Talk Show is for entertainment purposes only. Any advice or information provided on this show should be verified by alternative sources prior to making any changes or modifications to your vehicle. We are not experts, just people that enjoy the Jeep hobby and don't mind talking endlessly about it. P.S. We love you.
Wave.
This just in. New Jersey, capital city, running out of toilet paper. Mayor declares National Use Your Hand Day. Full story later in the news.
Hey, stud. It's time for the XJ Talk Show. Now, here's my two favorite boys, Tony and Josh.
Yes. Hey, we've been having some fun tonight, and I guess we have fun every night, don't we, Josh?
Yeah, that's true. We're unfortunately experiencing a couple technical difficulties, but we're going to try and power through this, and I'm trying to use that power term as a pun. But hey, glad you guys have joined us. For all of you both on the XJ Talk Show site, where we have some live chat going on, where you can watch the show live as well. And of course to our YouTube audience who is watching live and have joined us every week religiously on our Thursday night broadcast time, 10 p.m. Central.
You know, I guess it depends on the religion, but I always thought religiously would be like Wednesday nights and Sundays, twice on Sunday, morning and evening. So that's not, when you think about it, that's this 3 times a week and really just 2 days a week. So religiously kind of sucks.
Yeah, we are broadcasting at least once a week. And so for those of you who are our devout listeners, well, we thank you and encourage you guys to make sure you are telling a friend, and we'll see you each and every week.
Now, when you say devout, that's kind of another religious term that you're using there.
Well, as many as I can.
Josh is saying, please just let me go and don't mention my haircut on the air.
I got a little something about Mary going on tonight or something. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah.
Oh, gee. So it's going to be kind of a weird show, guys. Everything's just kind of out of whack. I've run outside twice now to hit the breaker to turn it back on, and I'm just waiting for the lights to go out on me again. So, anywho, we're gonna have a great show. Like Josh said, we're gonna power through this thing anyway. So anyway, this is the XJ Talk Show, a podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-roading, the tech that you need to get you there and back. We're here to promote the web's most premier website that is all Jeep Cherokee, xjtalk.com, the friendliest and most helpful site on the web. xjtalk.com encourages and answers all the questions and concerns that the first-time XJ owners typically have without any flaming or criticism, all while giving you the best, most in-depth articles and write-ups for the repairs, modifications to take your average XJ to the next level. Now get ready. It's the XJ Talk Show, and it starts right now.
First Week in Jeep.
Well, we've reported several times over the last several months about Jeep's top-selling prowess, and, this trend has continued. It was speculated just a couple months back that Jeep is going to break some all-time sales records in, the likes of which the auto industry has never, ever seen before. And now it's official. Jeep is on track to sell 1 million vehicles in 2014. That's this year. Its CEO, Mike Manley, that's such an awesome name, said on Thursday, Manley was speaking, of course, to reporters during an event in Balacco, Italy, where he had mentioned that it's official. They are on track to sell 1 million vehicles this year. So we'll see if they actually hit it or not. And, well, if they do, how much they go over. Who's going to bet on that spread, I wonder? Wait, Jeep launches the Renegade into a fast-growing segment, unlike this segment here, which is apparently going slower than my internet connection. Back in Balacco, Italy, Jeep will begin later this month for its foray into the market for subcompact SUVs, the industry's fastest growing segment, when it puts on sale the Renegade. The first model born from the coupling of U.S. and Italian engineering at Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, otherwise known as FCA. It's the first example of cross-country collaboration, CEO Sergio Marchionne told reporters today at a news conference near Balacoa. It's someplace in Italy.
Gesundheit.
Where they've got a test track there, and he says it's great to see. Looking at the boxy SUV with its rounded edges parked nearby, the damn thing works, he says. Built at Fiat's Melfi plant in Italy, the Renegade shares its platform and other components with the Fiat 500X, which will be unveiled at the Paris Auto Show next month. Jeep brand head Mike Manley once again told reporters that the Renegade was hugely important for the brand because it was the first attempt by Jeep to grab a share of the market for the subcompact SUVs, the industry's fastest growing segment. It's the first entry into the B segment, as they call it, since the Willys, almost 3/4 of a century ago, he said, referring to the Willys MB, which was built beginning in 1941, of course, for the U.S. Army. Manley said the segment was expected industry observers to reach global unit sales of 2 million this year, 700,000 of which will be in Europe alone. The Renegade is exactly the right vehicle to capture this growing market, he said. With its lower price point, it will attract drivers who would not consider the brand otherwise. With Jeep approaching its goal of selling a record 1 million vehicles this year, Chris Ellis, the brand's European head, said the Renegade was bound to help it surpass that goal in the coming years. Renegade will provide a strong momentum to our growth, he said. Ellis has said the Renegade was the only SUV in the segment, saying models offered by the competition were either crossovers or cars with off-road capability. The Renegade was aiming for the premium end of the European segment, where the Skoda Yeti and the Mini Countryman are present. Neither Ellis nor Manley disclosed sales forecasts for the model, which I would tell you more about if my show notes would actually scroll. Here we go.
No.
Yes, I know.
It's a wonderful night.
Combining engineering by merging Fiat and Chrysler and combining their engineering skills into one group. Marchionne is seeking to cut the cost of design and developing and building new vehicles, although Fiat Chrysler Automobiles has already come out with examples of collaboration between the two companies, such as the Dodge Dart and the Lancia Thema. The Renegade is the first model built from scratch by Fiat and Chrysler. It's also the first Jeep to be built outside the United States since the Cherokee was briefly made in China in 1984. The Renegade will first come to market in Italy later this month before arriving in other European markets in November, and we should see it, well, probably sometime in the near future. It will go on sale in the United States and other markets, including China, in the first quarter of 2015. The entry price is 20,000 euros in Italy, making the Renegade the cheapest model in Jeep's portfolio. Prices for other markets were not disclosed, although we have heard rumors about the Brazilian price point as well as others. So I think that information has already been leaked. Manley has previously said Jeep planned to build a Renegade in Brazil and China in the coming years. We'll see how that happens. In some not so entertaining news, but could be depending on your outlook on things, an Athens woman was hospitalized early Thursday morning after she was run over by a Jeep that she had helped jumpstart on the side of Bob Hallman Road. Athens Clark County Police have been reporting on this. She apparently was a passenger in the Jeep when it stalled shortly after 1 a.m. And when the driver started the Jeep with jumper cables attached to the vehicle of a passing motorist, he must have had some really long jumper cables and one hell of an aim.
Very good, almost like Batman type technology.
I wonder how he got the hood open. Driver then put the Jeep in gear and ran over the woman. There's for you. Who was still in front of the vehicle, obviously. The woman was taken by ambulance to Athens Regional Medical Center. The Jeep's driver, Ethan Tyler Mann of Freeman Circle, I've never heard of any of these places, was arrested for driving on a suspended license, driving an unregistered vehicle, and having no proof of insurance. Such an awesome Jeep owner, pillar of the community. The victim also lived on Freeman Circle, according to police. Yeah, I have no idea where these places are, but nonetheless, everybody's okay. Somebody's in jail, somebody's in the hospital, and we are all doing just Jim dandy. Hey, if you'd like to submit a story to be aired on This Week in Jeep, if I could get to it eventually, or if you have a response to any one of our stories, please send an email to newstips@xjtalk.com, and we'll do our best to avoid further technical difficulties.
So I'll just tell you, Josh did not have his normal time frame or normal stories, so I quickly went out and found these stories. So if you're wondering where the hell did this stuff come from, it was me. I found it. I plugged it into the show notes while Josh was doing the other things that he needs to do to get the show going. So I thought it was interesting. Damn it.
We typically I of course do some creative writing and add some funny to them and stuff like that. Didn't have quite enough time to add that little bit of comedic spin to it, but nonetheless, hopefully we've provided you guys with some good dissemination of Jeep news for you. So next week we'll be back on track and have some good stuff for you.
Yeah, consider that a threat. Oh, jeez.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tap a Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, well, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
This is Pierce Umloff, Vice President of Jeep Camber USA, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
The XJ Talk Show is brought to you by Audible.com. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or your MP3 player. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial over at www.audibletrial.com/XJ Talk Show.
Yes, hello, Jeep fans. Once again, this is Richard Cranium Allswell III. You may remember me from such documentaries as Toenail Soup, It's Not Just for Breakfast Anymore, and short films like My Little Red Wagon and Your Mother the Whore. Last we met, I began to tell you the tale of the most awesome vehicle ever made. Today, we continue our journey down memory lane with the Jeep Cherokee. The XJs, as they are referred to, although amazing and wonderful, do like a bit of attention. Much like a dog, they have to have their bellies tickled, preferably by rocks and brush. And they have been known to enjoy an occasional mud bath. To reward you, they will keep working until they want another tickle or roll in the mud. Unfortunately, there has been a vast majority of these vehicles that have been known to be taken from their natural habitat and forced to graze amongst the hybrids in the asphalt jungles of the shopping malls. We never seem to have enough time, so please join us next week as we continue the saga of the Jeep Cherokee. Until then, this is Richard Cranium Allswell III saying farewell.
Cranium. Love it.
Richard Cranium. Well, these people cannot be considered Richard Craniums because they are our YouTube subscribers. Guys, we have well over 600 subscribers, and we are knocking on the door of 200,000 views. And guys want to make sure you're keeping up the good work and do that and give you a little incentive. We might just call your name out on the air if you're a recent subscriber. We've got 4 that we pick out of the list every week in no particular order. And first on today's list is Taylor Hines.
Ooh, I like this one. Mad Matt.
There we go. Reminds me of a good movie. Keith Evans in our number 3 spot.
Oh, God bless you. You picked a lot of easy names. And John Swift.
Actually, there was a name in there that was written in a language that I could not understand. And it was actually in a font that I could not even read. It was something along the lines of Arabic. But whoever that was, we thank you even for your subscription, and make sure you're telling a friend as well.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Remember, youtube.com/XJTalk. Well, let's get to our voicemail. We've got a Nikki G, and then we got a new Josh's Subconscious. But Josh, you already knew about that, right?
Yes, well, kind of, I think. I don't know. I've got all these split personalities and voices in my head, so, who knows? It's always something new to me, even in looking in the mirror.
Sybil.
Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, this is Nikki G, and I just want to thank Steve for the How to Lift Your YJ segment, and a little tidbit of information about the YJ. Jeep designated it the YJ because it stands for YJ put square headlights in it. And thing about Josh's no bus issue, a Jeep PCM puts out a pretty complicated message but there's no room on the odometer for it. So it has to shorten it down. So its original message was, "No, my friend, you must ride the bus." Of course, there's no room on the odometer, so it comes out to no bus, which works out good because most Jeep owners don't like reading that long anyhow. All right, guys, I'll chat you later. You have a good one. Bye.
I really thought he was going to say none of your business.
I was expecting some profanity in there or something like that. Yes. Now, I wonder what the flipbook version of that would look like.
Well, let's see what's going on in that big old melon, or half of the melon that we call Josh's head.
Be careful what you wish for.
Now, another message from Josh's subconscious. Yoo-hoo! Oh man, Tony keeps bugging me to get my ham license. But I don't like ham. I prefer sausage. I wonder what Mickey G likes. I wonder if he's the hot dog or the bun. Oh well, toodaloo.
Yeah, well, you can see some of that stuff coming. Part of the pun, pardon the pun,
Yes.
but it's still funny.
Oh man, good times, good times. I do love my subconscious. That
yes,
is,
well, you
that
got
is some
to.
good stuff.
It's all part of the package. Josh, did you see the good news? We got reviews. Not only did we get one review, we got two.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff here for you guys. Well, some good stuff for us, I guess it would be. August 29th. This is a few days old.
Well, this is from
XJ Talk.
This is the one from last show, and I just put that in there in the notes so that you'd see that the one that we got was from the same guy, but it's on iTunes this time.
Very good.
So we can
very
let's remind the folks of that post. But I know it's been a confusing night, so I thought I would clue you into why I put that in there. Josh usually does the show notes, so when somebody else is cleaning the kitchen, you never can find the damn thing.
It's true.
So anyway, last week we had a nice review. This was done on the XJ Talk site, and it was from Dan Smurf, or Dan Smurf, depending on how you read that. And he said he found a podcast a couple of weeks ago and loved it. I downloaded the last 15 episodes and could not stop listening. Apparently there was a technical issue, so the stop button wouldn't work. And but anyway, he says great info and entertainment. So this week we actually on August 29th as well, he went over to iTunes, and Josh, what did he say?
It's good.
That's the title and the comment. It's good. It's good.
Good. A man of so many words, but nonetheless, it was a 5-star rating. We definitely appreciate that, Dan. And just goes to show, folks, you don't have to have a very big grasp upon the English language to leave a review. All it takes is a clicking of a certain star, the one most farthest to the right, please. That gives us a 5-star review, and just a couple of words, something like "it's good," and we'll take it.
Well, Josh, I'm not going to suggest that Dan Smurf was this entertained by our podcast, but I'm sure you've been in a situation where something was so good that the only thing you could utter for the at least 30 seconds was, "It's good."
I made a stuffing a few Thanksgivings ago that almost took my breath away. And it was like that. I mean, I almost brought a tear to my eye. It was so good. And all I could do was mumble. So good.
You do the spoonful of stuffing and then the gravy boat and then
it's just a blur of hands and utensils just shoveling stuff into my mouth. Yeah, no, you don't want to be around me on a good plate of food.
And then we had a second review also on the 29th from C. Richard Thompson, and he said, "Good Jeep XJ show." He says it's a 5-star rating. He says, "Well worth a try. It's fairly funny." And usually informative, but yet 5 stars. So we're going to take out the fairly and usually and say it's funny and informative.
Nice backhanded compliment there. I think that's what we call it, a backhanded compliment. Fairly funny, usually informative.
I love it. It's great.
We have our moments. Well, you guys, this part of the XJ Talk Show is brought to you by Audible.com. If you like podcasts, there's a good chance you're going to like audiobooks too. In fact, I was listening to one just this afternoon, in fact, by one of my favorite Northwest authors, Scott Sigler. You guys got to check him out. He is over at audible.com. He's got some really cool stuff. Definitely make the hairs on the back of your head stand up. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Anyways, how you get yourself all hooked up is you got to go to audibletrial.com/xjtalkshow. You get your chance to pick a free title, anything out of there, 150,000 to choose from, and it's growing every day. You also get a 30-day access to the site to cruise around all those titles to find just what you're looking for. audibletrial.com/xjtalkshow. Get yourself hooked up now.
Yeah, we'd like to know when you go over there and subscribe and try out a free book. So don't forget to call our voicemail line and let us know, like Nikki G does every week. And we sure appreciate all those funny things that Nikki G comes up with. If you haven't actually had to try come up with something on a weekly basis that's interesting or funny or both, it's tough. And Nikki G does that.
He definitely does deliver. Well, speaking of delivering, we got some good tech delivered to us this week by Steve 4.3 LXJ, who's going to share with us a little something about some knuckle upgrades.
And now for a disclaimer. Jeep Tips is for entertainment purposes only. If you choose to follow these tips, man up and take the responsibility for your own actions. If you cannot, or you feel that working on your Jeep is beyond your abilities, seek the help or advice of a trained certified mechanic.
Got a tip? We do. It's time for Jeep Tips.
Today I'd like to talk about over-the-knuckle steering upgrades, and I'd like to address that first by saying that many times when people do this, they have some problems on what to put on there and how to do it and so forth. And sometimes there are issues with how you hook the tie rod in, and the best way to do these things is with a tie rod that is separate from the drag link. And I'd like to talk about an upgrade that probably nobody's talked about because nobody knows the parts exist. And I'd like to say that you can do this upgrade, the over-the-knuckle upgrade, on a Dana 30 for our XJs, YJs, ZJs, anything that uses a Dana 30, including the CJs, without having the problem with bump steer. And bump steer is caused by a difference in the angle of the drag link and the track bar on our rigs. And there's, outside of just doing some welding, there's no way to get rid of it, unless you get some hard to find parts. Now this will work with both right-hand and left-hand drive Cherokees. So all you guys that live down under, or your former English colonies, and you drive on the wrong side of the road, by our standards anyway, and you got your steering wheel on the right, you can do this upgrade too and not have any problems. So here's the way it works. Normally when you do an over-the-knuckle, you drill the arm out that comes from the knuckle, and you slip a bushing in there, and it allows you to put the drag link and so forth on the top of the arm instead of the bottom, and it raises your tie rod up about 3 inches. And this is, nice. It gets your tie rod up out of the way, and if you've got anything less than 6.5 inches of lift, then like on a XJ, ZJ, probably on a YJ also, and of course a TJ, then you can raise the tie rod up and get it up a little bit, keeps it from bending so easily, and of course you can do a ZJ tie rod upgrade with this, and if you want. But a lot of the over-the-knuckle systems have everything on top, and some of them use Heim joints and so forth, and you're going to get some bump steer when you do this. So in order to get rid of that, there's a little known part that you can use, and that is the knuckles from the postal Jeeps. Those ugly little things that post office lady drives around with the sliding doors. They rattle like crazy. Got the Chevy 4-cylinder in them that rattles like crazy also. And the nice thing about these knuckles are, even though they're on a straight axle, they will bolt to a regular Dana 30. And instead of having a single eye out there in order to put a tie rod into, they have two. And what this allows you to do, if you were to do a tie rod upgrade with a two-piece tie rod, you can run the drag link on the bottom side, and if you're in a lifted vehicle, this is no problem because the thing's going to be angled anyway and it's coming down, so it's out of harm's way. And then you can flip the tie rod itself up to the top on both sides. Then use your little bushings that you drill it out straight, put these bushings in, and then you can flip your tie rod on top. And then you can run an over-the-knuckle tie rod setup, keep the drag link on the bottom, and not have any track bar issues or any bump steer issues. It worked just like stock, yet the tie rod itself, your one-piece tie rod, is going to be on top and out of harm's way. But you got to find them. Sometimes you can find post office Jeeps in the wrecking yard. I do believe that they might still be available from Spicer. It's a little known part, but they're the same on both sides because they exported these postal Jeeps to other countries. And so if you're from Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain, you'll want what we would call the driver or the left-hand knuckle. If you're from the U.S. or any of us that drive with the steering wheel on the left, you would want the right-hand knuckle. They're mirror images of each other, and they'll work fine for this application. And they're just as strong as any other Dana 30 knuckle. And they'll allow you then to have perfect steering and still raise your tie rod up about 3 inches.
Well, that was interesting. I didn't know you could do all that, Josh.
Yeah, no, neither did I. I didn't think there were very many parts at all that were, cross-platform from those postal Jeeps to, well, the Jeeps we all know and love.
I usually see a postal Jeep or two on the way home from work every day, cutting in the long line off of I-10, going to make the turn because the postal office is down that way, and I guess it's legal to ram somebody if they're trying to cut in front of you, isn't it? I mean, I've always heard cops say it's your lane, run over them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I might need one of those cow catchers in front of my Jeep before I start doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, you'd hear it in the press. The Jeep on Jeep crime, though, it would be a bad thing. It'd be a no-win situation. All righty. So what's do we do a little chit chat tonight?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot going on with my Jeep right now. I did have that LED light that came in. I think I shared that with you.
Hang on, I got to get there. We're not actually there yet, Josh.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Josh, how's it going? I see you got the fire going again.
Yeah, you know me. I like to start fires.
Well, how's it go?
Just never mind that can of gasoline and the blowtorch over there. Those will come in use later on.
What's the blonde for?
Yeah, well, that's later on. No, as I was telling you guys last week, I shared with you a little show and tell about a nice new addition to the off-road lighting on my XJ. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice 48-inch LED light bar that's it's multi-beam. It's got the flood on the outside and the spot in the middle. Really cool. I haven't had a chance to hook it up yet. And I promised the guy who I got it from, which is a friend of the show and who had helped build Tony's engine that is in his Jeep right now, Matt Smorenberg, and he got himself a good deal on a few of these and managed to was kind enough to pass on that deal to me, and I think he might even be looking for a couple of other people to pass that deal on to. So if you're in the market for some really cool and high quality LED off-road lighting, talk with Matt Smorenberg. M Smorenberg is how he goes by on xjtalk.com. Look him up, hit him up, and see if he can't get you guys a deal on some LED lights as well.
I did check with him on chat the other day, and he did say he's going to be doing some more purchases, and so make sure you go over there and check him out on xjtalk.com. He is a fellow administrator there on xjtalk.com, and I'm sure he would love to get you in on the deal.
Indeed, and I'm lucky I got myself in on that deal. It came very quickly. It came in one piece, and it came complete. So I have absolutely no complaints. Hopefully it turns on. That's the only thing I have left.
I had mine for months and months and months before I powered it on, and it came on, worked great. Just don't be like if you've got a 20 amp, a 12 volt supply, and you're going to turn it on in the house. Make sure you point it away from the noggin. You do not want this thing coming on in your face. I guarantee you. So
seeing rows of dots for 3 days straight.
So I just wanted to mention. Now I don't know on this last purchase that Matt made. He may have only been buying the 48 inch deals, but he shared with me a PDF document that has all kinds of different kinds of lights. It's the 7 inches, the little 4-inch lights, the bigger ones, the curved ones. So if you guys would like a curved 48 or 50 inch or whatever that. I know that the outfit he's getting these things from have all those. I just don't know what it is he's planning on purchasing because you got to buy a bunch of whatever it is to get a good price.
Yeah, that's true, and he gets himself a lot deal. That's how it works. So it's kind of like group buy. Mm-hmm. You get enough people to all go in on the same item. You guys all get a great deal. And I was just so lucky enough to get in on one of those said deals. So. Again, I haven't powered it on yet. I promised that I would do a video of the light up of this thing, so you guys can see my reaction, and I'm gonna do my best not to have any profanities because I'm sure I'm gonna be absolutely impressed, stunned, and blown away, and especially if I light that thing up right in front of my face. So, but nonetheless, I haven't done any installation on it yet. I still have to take off the lights on my roof rack as it is right now, and I'm gonna probably redo a lot of my roof rack. I've been wanting to take that thing down off the roof for a little while now, and clean it up. It's got a couple spots on it where the powder coating had kind of gone away, and some rust has started to form up. So I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup on it, maybe give it a whole new coating of some bed liner, and just freshen it up a little bit. That might be one of the winter projects that I handle this winter. So, but I've got a few wheeling trips here in the near future. Here in Oregon, things have been awfully dry, and especially here in the last couple of days, very windy, which is not a good combination.
Right.
Because that thing, brush fires and little wildfires and stuff like that pop up a little more often than they should. So right now, all of the spots where I could go wheeling are all shut down, and that's just to protect our national wildlife and to protect the forest lands and everything else. So it happens usually about once a year for a brief period of time. Not every year, but it's typical. It's not too uncommon. I'll put it that way. So I was looking forward to going out and maybe getting some camping in this weekend, maybe doing a little bit of wheeling, but that might have to get put off. So we'll see how that happens. I'll report back on all of that this next show.
Well, now I just want to ask you a quick question about the lighting. Now I know you're not supposed to use these lights on the road, but I would think that in an emergency situation, as long as you're not causing a problem for other people to see, that you could use it, and maybe not legitimately or legally, but I don't think a cop would probably give you a hard time if it was an obvious emergency situation. I'm thinking about the snows that you guys get up there. Would this thing be any good in a snowstorm, or would it be worse because you're lighting up the white, reflecting it back at you?
Well, that's a really good question, Tony. In fact, I think a lot of that is going to depend on where your lights are mounted. Now, this light in particular, this one is going to be on, obviously, above me. It's going to be on the roof rack. Mm-hmm. So there is going to be a lot of light that is broadcast, over the hood and in front of the windshield area, versus if I had lights like on the bumper or something like that. Those would be in front of the Jeep and a little bit lower. Probably below some of the field of view and of course, illuminating more of the stuff down below. So, I mean, obviously there's going to be some broadcast upwards and stuff. This light in particular, I think is going to end up being, it's not exactly something you want to use while it's snowing or under heavy fog conditions. Now, if I had an amber lens for it or something like that, that would be something different. I'd be able to slap that on. It would create a different pattern of light of sorts, at least in a different spectrum. That is more conducive for driving at night in fog or in snow or inclement weather.
Yeah, I could see keeping it down low would be better for like for the oncoming drivers certainly. But I was thinking in some severe situation. Of course, I guess being seen sometimes is part of the safety factor too. And I know I like turning on my small 7-inch lights down on the bumper during rain and dark situations where it's really not really dark enough to run headlights, but it's dark enough to call attention to yourself because a Jeep that's heavily laden with armor and 33-inch tires doesn't always stop on a dime. It may stop on a Honda or a Prius. So I'd like to at least give them the warning of I'm coming down the road. Don't be a dumbass and pull out in front of me with all this wet and dark, because people do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe picking up like one of the foot-long versions of these lights, and I want to try and get it mounted up over my roller fairlead for the winch, and I want to put an amber lens on it, and the reason for that is I want a really good high-intensity fog light of sorts, and that's essentially what an amber light is just it's that orangish yellowish light. It works better in fog and in snow and rain and stuff like that.
Well, you know what it is, right?
Well, yeah, and I wouldn't, I could definitely use that without having to worry about a state patrol pulling me over saying, "Hey, why are you running this light?" It's something that could be ran in everyday traffic if as long as you're not have it pointed up towards everybody's rearview mirrors.
Now here in Texas, I was told that any additional lighting, of course, it has to be a certain wattage. I guess lumens for the LEDs, but here in Texas, any additional or auxiliary lighting has to be below the headlights, so they can't be at the same level or above the headlights. Now, I don't know about Oregon where you're at. Also, too, I was going to mention, I think I mentioned before, the amber lights. It doesn't really have anything to do with the color of the light as far as being able to see better, but our eyes are tuned better for yellow. So when we have a yellow light, we can see better. The yellow light doesn't cut through the fog. It's the reflectivity coming back to our eyes. Since we can see the yellow better, it defines things. And, that's why they use yellow shooting glasses, because it colors everything and makes it sharper for our eyes. So you guys with those bright white lights that you've, paid umpteen dollars, and you got these blue lights and stuff, you're not going to see as good as somebody with the old-fashioned yellowish lights. They look neat, but you don't see better.
Yeah, I've got, in fact, for my motorcycle helmet, I've got what they call an HD yellow shield for it.
Yeah,
and it's basically the same kind of stuff that goes into shooting glasses. It's that yellow polycarbonate that has very, very clear optics, and I use that at night, and during the day I have a tinted version of that. It's all basically like sunglasses.
Oh, that's nice. That way you don't have to put sunglasses on top of the helmet. That's good.
Right, or underneath of it, for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on top would be like the really big gag ones. That would be cool. I want to see that. Yeah.
I ought to do that. I ought to go to Goodwill or something like that, get myself a crappy secondhand helmet, and just super glue a set of those big old things right on the front of that. That would be great.
Good YouTube video.
Imagine the looks that people would give you. I'd have to strap on a GoPro to the top of the helmet, just kind of go into traffic and just stare at somebody with those things.
Well, you need a film crew, because you got to get both sides of it, both them looking at you and you looking at them. That would be pretty funny. Hey, I don't know if you want to discuss it or not, but you sent me a message earlier today where you were making a Jeep parts purchase, and you ran across somebody that listens to the show.
Oh yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about that. I haven't even taken it out of the car yet. So a member of NAXJA, he actually lives north of me quite a ways, up in the Seattle area, And he posted up how he's doing some upgrades to his own Jeep. He's getting one of the TNT Customs belly pan skid plates, and had no longer had any, which is really cool stuff. No longer had any need for his transfer case skid plate, which is 1/4-inch steel. It's aftermarket. It's really cool, and the price was very fair. Very right. One of those deals you almost couldn't, you can't afford not to pass up. So I went ahead and said, hey, dibs, called it. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Especially since he said that he frequently comes down to the Portland metro area for work, and that he was going to be in town this week. And I was like, well, perfect. If you're willing to meet me at my work or something, then we can definitely make this happen. So he was, and he did, and we met up this afternoon. Really cool guy. And he's like, when I saw your username, I was like, man, that name sounds familiar. Where do I know that from? And he was kind of just thinking out loud, and he's just like, the XJ Talk Show, right? And I was just like, yeah. And he's just like, how long have you guys been doing that? So we ended up talking about the show for 3 to 5 minutes or something like that. Just kind of a little bit of conversation. But yeah, I mean, same kind of thing as me. He just was one day at work, wanted something new to listen to on the computer. Typed in Jeep podcast or something like that, and up pops the XJ Talk Show. And same way I found it, basically. And he's been a fan ever since. So he's been listening for the better part of a year or so. Clear up in Seattle. We've never met before, had never spoken until this week. And come to find out, he's a loyal listener and a fan of the show. So big shout out to Jeff. If you're out there listening, thank you very much for coming down and hooking me up with an awesome skid plate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I just thought that was really cool because just the idea that you can be going someplace miles and miles away from wherever you normally are, or where your hometown or whatever, and you run across somebody that either knows about the xjtalk.com site or knows about the XJ Talk show. And it's just like, it's really weird because you do something like this every week, or you put up a site and it's got thousands of members, but actually running across somebody else just in your day-to-day, the odds are going to be there, but it's kind of weird. So whenever you told me about that today, I thought that's pretty cool. What's the odds of that happening,
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, he was a Cherokee owner, Cherokee fan. Yeah. He lived here in the North. Well, I mean, it was just, like you said, bound to happen and stuff, but it's not every day that you run into, a fellow XJ Talk Show, supporter, listener, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too. And I was a little short for time. I wish I could have sat and chewed the rag with him a little bit more, because we were getting some really cool Jeep conversation, and I was like, oh man, I could sit here all day and talk to this guy. But no, unfortunately, I had to get back to work. But we're gonna set it up to where he comes down here fairly frequently. So we're gonna set up where he comes down. We'll have some lunch, be able to BS and hang out a little bit more. But there's times where he actually comes down and spends several days here in the Portland area. And I said, well, next time you do that, let me know. Give me some heads up at advance warning or whatever, and I'll plan a wheeling trip, and we'll take you up. And because the last time that he was up in the Tillamook State Forest, the Browns Camp wheeling area, which is where I typically will take my Jeep to go wheeling. I think he said it was clear back in like 2006 or something like that. I mean, it's been many, many years since he's even been up there, and a lot of stuff has changed. A lot of the trails have evolved both by erosion and natural use and stuff like that. So he's been seeing pictures and video and stuff like that, and really it was this OHV area, off-highway vehicle area, this off-road area has really started to come around the last 5 or 6 years. So he was just on the cusp of when it was starting to get good. So he ended up leaving the area a little bit too soon, but nonetheless, Jeff was a really cool guy. I can't wait to kick it with him again, and I can't wait to take him up and get some wheeling and show him some of the spots.
Well, there's some beautiful places to go off road up there, at least from the pictures that you've shared. Now, this is a bit of a detour, but that's kind of the way we do things. I've noticed a recent, at least I think it's a recent commercial on television about cheese, and the name seems to be familiar based on some of the things I've heard you talk about, because I think it's Tillamook cheese.
Yeah. That is the one.
And I thought, hey, isn't that a wheeling place? I wonder if they give you free cheese when you go off road.
Well, Tillamook is the nearest town, and it's really not much of anything. I mean, it's a small little coastal town. It was a fishing community when it first started up. A dairy opened up, and it's been history ever since. And Tillamook is probably by far one of the largest dairies and ice cream cheese manufacturers in the greater Northwest area. I'm not sure if Tillamook products make it all the way down to your neck of the woods, Tony, but if they do, well, that's of course where it's coming from. And yeah, it's literally only about a half-hour drive from an actual wheeling trail. Up in the hills, up you go, and you're just half hour, 35 minutes away from a cheese factory or from wheeling. Pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it is on there. They are showing it on the local stations here, so I would assume that product is available for us here in the Southeast Texas area. Anyway, I saw that and I thought that sounds familiar. I don't know that they actually said the name, but it was written on the side of the animated cheese that these kids were taking bites out of, which was kind of horrifying when you think about it. So, I've mentioned here recently that I've got a lifter ticking in my 24,000 mile engine, which is very disappointing. And it's making some other kind of rattling noise that I was kind of pinpointing down today that sounded like it might be in the distributor area. I need to take the cap off and look and see if there's anything in that under the cap that's causing a noise. But I kind of get the feeling if it is the distributor, it's probably going to be more down inside where you stab it down where it meshes with the cam. Anyway,
the actual distributor itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's running great. It just making these various noises, which is very disturbing. So I'm mulling over getting another vehicle. My daughter, we have two adult daughters that live at home, and they both drive the 99, and I've been needing to get them another vehicle. And I had planned on getting a Dodge Neon based on what Matt Smornberg had suggested as far as that being a very high mileage engine, go a lot of miles without much problem, and it being good gas mileage, even though it's I just hate the look of the little cars. But anyway, what are you going to do? So, but listen, it seems like everyone that I look at that's the right year and the right price is at least 100,000, maybe 120,000 miles, which is not a big deal for this engine. The only problem is that around 100,000 miles, you need to change the timing belt. Notice I said belt, not chain. And and there is the problem. And I guess it wouldn't be such a big problem if it wasn't an interference engine. So if that timing belt breaks, valves and things go into pistons and all kinds of bad things happen. So if I was to buy a Dodge Neon, the very first thing that I would need to do would be to have the belt replaced. And while you're in there, you replace the water pump. And there's one other thing. I think there's an idler pulley or something that, if you got all that stuff off and you're going to replace the one thing, replace them all. So, I think it was a $300 or $500 deal, not including parts, or maybe it was including parts. So
that's about right. I was going to say, usually timing chain and various other things that you do when you're doing that sort of thing, or timing belt, typically will run you about, in the $500 or $600 range. That seems about average, seems about fair.
Yeah. So, I was looking at that going, well, I could do that, or I could just get me a Dodge Ram pickup.
Oh boy.
So I have plans on going to look at and unfortunately, nobody's going to believe me. Unfortunately, the one I'm going to go look at is red. We got enough red vehicles, but this one's red.
Of course it is.
It's a Dodge Ram 1500, and quad cab would be nice, but actually, I don't need the truck. I certainly don't need the quad cab. So this one is a regular cab. It's also four-wheel drive. Short wheelbase, and it has 160,000 miles on it, which I don't care for, but it is in very, very nice shape, and looks like it's got brand new tires on it. So and the price is right. So according to Matt, these are 220 to 300,000 mile engines, the 4.7 liter V8 from Dodge, and it is also a manual transmission. so I don't have to worry about having the automatic transmission go out on me and dropping $2,000 to replace it. I mean, sure, clutch, disc, pressure plate, yada, yada, yada. Those are all things I can do myself. Hell, I've replaced a synchronizer ring in a standard transmission years ago, but I think I was 16 and I figured it out. So
wow,
how hard can it be, So, I feel very much more comfortable with standards than I do automatic, simply because I feel I can work on them.
This would end up turning into a tow rig, would it?
Well, honestly, I think it's just going to wind up being something that I can drive in case the Jeep is down. Like right now, I wouldn't mind popping the head and replacing all the lifters, but I've never done that job before, and I don't want to put myself in a situation where I've got the thing torn down, I find more problems than what I anticipated, or it takes me longer than what I thought it would, and I'm working on this thing 2 o'clock Monday morning, and I got to go to work, at 7 a.m. in that same day, just simply to be able to get there. Now, of course, probably what I would do is I would just say, sorry, honey, the Jeep's not ready. I need to drive yours. But now with 3 adults having to go and do things, they're using one vehicle to get all that done. Right now, they're using 2 vehicles. So the idea is get the truck. It's a standard transmission, so it should get better gas mileage. The idea will be for one of the 2 daughters to drive it normally around, and I'll be driving my Jeep. I'd much rather drive my Jeep than a Dodge Ram pickup anyway. I enjoy my Jeep, but if you can't drive your Jeep, you might as well drive something else that's tall, and hell, if it's 4-wheel drive too, all the better.
Well, look, and Tony, honestly, with that kind of vehicle, your resale value it's going to hold. You're going to be able to, I'm not going to say get your money's worth out of the resale on that. I mean, providing, if you do decide to flip it in, let's say a year's time or something like that. But, if you do end up holding on to it, pass it down to one of the daughters or keep it for yourself for, a different daily driver. It's something. It's a good truck. It's a good rig, and you should be able to get many miles out of it. And if nothing else, you'll be able to probably get most of your investment back out of it when the time comes to sell it.
Well, I like the idea. I had many trucks before I bought my Jeep Cherokee, and in fact, I was in a '94 Ford F-150 Club Cab that I traded in when I got the Cherokee. So I've been in trucks for many years, and the Jeep was the. I'm sorry.
Once a truck owner, always a truck owner.
Love trucks. They're just a lot of fun, and also this being a 4-wheel drive. If the '94 had been a 4-wheel drive, I would not have gotten the Jeep. I'd always wanted a Jeep Wrangler, so that's what I went in for. And then of course the story, found the Cherokee and got that instead. But I wanted a 4-wheel drive, so. I like the Ford. The Ford was a good, that F-150 was a good truck. But anyway, so I'm hoping that what I can do is, I still want to get that Dodge Neon, but what I'll do is maybe in a year or so take another run at the Dodge Neon thing, and then at that point with the 4 vehicles, nobody's going to be out anything while the Neon is getting ready. Either I'm doing it or I haven't go someplace and have it done. I may do it myself. I just talk to Matt and find out what where it is and how difficult it is to get to, and have that where we've got the fresh belt on it, and then my daughter would start driving that, and then at that point we could decide if the '99 was leaving, the 2004 Dodge Ram was leaving, or something along those lines, or I'm going to keep the truck and have 2 vehicles. Have 3 vehicles to share between my wife and I. So I don't know. It just it's kind of the nice thing about having the older vehicles and having enough of them, where you just have liability and uninsured motorist, and then you just drive them and maintain them yourself, and don't have to pay all the money and interest and all the money upfront money for down payment. And look at this one. This one's they've got a price of about $5,000 on it. I'm hoping to get them down $4,200 on this thing.
And honestly, the peace of mind that comes with having another vehicle to daily drive, and giving you the opportunity to work on your Jeep without the worry of a time frame. Oh man, it is such a nice, cozy little blanket. I can't tell you. There's been so many times when I was daily driving my own Jeep that something would break. And, Saturday I, ran into something and it took me all day, something else popped up, a bolt broke or, something like that. How Jeeps always present you with something else to work on. And while you're trying to do something, something else. And, and here we are, Sunday night, and, I'm still not fixed, and I'm scrambling around trying to find a press, trying to find somebody who's got this tool or that, or, there has been times where I had to, call up a buddy. Hey, I'm gonna need to ride into work with you today, because I'm SOL right now. So yeah, it's having that extra vehicle really is such a nice peace of mind, a bit of peace of mind, and especially Tony, once you do finally start wheeling, and
and I was just going to say this might be a help to that, because that's one of the concerns I have is getting out there and breaking something. I mean, how wonderful it would be to figure out a way to get it back home, and that's it. Go relax and then go to work and take the truck.
Right. Exactly. And now you have a truck to where you could go and rent a dolly or something like that and pick up the Jeep if it were, stranded somewhere, broken or whatever, and get it back home.
I've got AAA. As long as I'm not over 100 miles, I'm golden. So
yeah.
now I was going to say, you were talking about a tow rig, and it did cross my mind because Matt actually, I think he actually went to the tow points on his Jeep and put in a tow, a tow bar or a tow thing or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. And he towed his all the way to Colorado behind his Armada. So there's always a possibility. There's always a possibility that if it at least rolls, if I can take it out off road, and at least if it just rolls back, I can get it home and won't even have to call AAA, because who wants to wait 45 minutes for a tow?
That's just it. Flat towing is always dependent on whether or not your Jeep is able to roll. And if you've got a broken axle, well, that might not be happening, especially if you got a C-clip axle. So, there's things that kind of go along with that. The further peace of mind, of course, is a trailer, but that's I think you've said before that you don't have a place to put it. So, a car dolly or flat towing is where it's going to be for you.
Yeah, like you say, it's good to have options, and I tried really hard not to go out and have a bunch of different vehicles parked here in front of the house, but at some point you got to make that decision just for your own peace of mind.
And we'd like for you guys to make the decision to give us a call and let us know about your recent wheeling adventure, or maybe what's going on in your build lately, or hey, maybe you've just got a really cool Jeep story to share. We want to hear about it. Give us a call, 24/7 530-675-4102. Look, guys, we've got a third seat open, and it could be for you.
Yes. Hey, don't forget about us on Facebook, XJ Talk, on Twitter, XJ Talk. I see a pattern developing here. We're on youtube.com, also XJ Talk. Oh, and we've got a little website called wranglertalk.com, and it's been getting quite a bit more activity. If you're a JK owner, a TJ owner, a YJ owner, any of those Js, even including the CJs, even though it's not technically a Wrangler, you're more than welcome to come over to wranglertalk.com and interface with the rest of the Jeep owners. Hell, if you don't even have a Jeep, you're more than welcome on both xjtalk.com and wranglertalk.com. I'll also mention, don't forget, every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Central Time, it's the Tony and Josh Show. We don't talk about Jeeps. In fact, we speak in hushed tones about Jeeps, because we want to make sure that we're not going off on a tangent about Jeeps, because we do the Jeep show here. So if you like hearing about what's in the news, some kooky stuff, well, Josh, what do you think? You tell them what we talk about on the Tony and Josh show.
Well, if you got a sick, twisted sense of humor, you like stories of the macabre, and, the occasional stories of things that are actually really happening and going on, you got to check us out. Head over to TonyandJosh.com and join us on YouTube every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Central, for a live broadcast of the Tony and Josh Show.
Yeah, that's youtube.com/Tony and Josh Show. And it would be, what is it? I was going to say 3 Ps, but it's a V and 2 Ps. It's the vaginas, penises, and poops. You can pretty much guarantee is the comical story that Josh will come up with.
Yeah, I usually dig deep into the annals of the gutter and pull something out that will oftentimes cross some lines.
And
so
sometimes it's a 22 that's being pulled out. There was a girl that had smuggled in a 22 pistol. So you have to watch the show to find out more about that. Anyway, you guys have a great Jeep week.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
That was 59:55 when I started rolling that little social media promo at the end, which of course doesn't go on the audio only podcast. So that was worked out pretty well. You know, we were at 30 minutes when we were done before I said, "Hey, you want to do a chit chat?"
Yeah, no, I kind of figured we would have ended up doing a short show, just because one, we started so late, and two, we didn't have a whole lot in the show notes. So I figured, well, it's gonna work out okay anyways. We'll have a short show, but yeah, then we get actually talking chit chat wise, and you know how that goes. We'll end up stretching a 20-minute show into an hour and a half show.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I'm not ashamed of this number at all. I shouldn't be ashamed of any numbers, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it to you. I was keeping you updated, and you guys don't know, we had a big spurt of downloads today for the podcast, and so strangely,
the last number I got from you, I think was, should I say it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to give you the final number.
Okay, so the last number I got from you was, I think, 439.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, is that where we ended up at, or did we go above that even?
We went above that. Not too far, but we went above that. So
did we break 100?
Hang on. So So anyway, we have very respectable numbers, and just like I've heard on other podcasts, if you have 50 people that are listening to your show every week, you get 50 downloads. Hell, if you get 25 downloads, if you would imagine 25 people coming to an auditorium or a room to sit there and listen to you talk, would that be a lot of people to you? And the answer is, yeah, of course. 25 people are interested in traveling to a place and sitting down and listening to me ramble on and on. Wow, that's great. So 50 would be twice as good. 100 would be great. So, we routinely see well over 100 that are downloading our shows. And again, it doesn't matter if it's 2 or not, but we do like it's kind of a pat on the back to us whenever we see that we're getting a lot of downloads. It's a lot of work. It's fun, but it's a lot of work to do this stuff too, especially week after week. So the numbers help encourage us. So strangely, I don't know why, Mondays are release days. So we'll see the biggest download spike on Monday. Well, for some reason, and I look at the stats, usually just glance at them daily, and for some reason, we had 156 downloads by 9 a.m. I'm like, what the hell? That's something like I would normally see on a release day, Monday. Right. So I poked Josh on chat and said, hey, 156. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, gosh, 10 minutes later, it was like at 170. And then it just kept going. And I'm just giving him a rolling number. And I think I actually, when it got to around 201, I asked Josh if I should sell, because it's like a it's like a stock thing. Should we sell? 201, and we're not going to get more than that. And then another 15 minutes or so was at 215. So I was doing some looking to try to figure out what it was, and for some reason, episodes 126, 127, and 128 were the ones that were being downloaded.
And I looked back into the history of the shows, and the topic of conversation that was common on those 3 shows was me talking about my Honda being stolen.
That's interesting.
So I have no idea if that has anything to do with it or not, but I thought it was a funny little snippet of information that, well, geez, maybe there's a lot of people all of a sudden very interested in why this Honda keeps getting stolen. I don't know, but yeah, it was very interesting that that kind of popped back up again. And but yeah, I mean, Tony was saying 156 and then like 170, and then we hit like the 200 mark, and then it just kept going.
And what'd you say? You said 300. 300, yeah, 300. Let's go to 300.
I was like, come on, 300. We might actually hit that. And then we blew past that.
And I'm like, get real, man. It's not going to be 300. We've never done 300. It's not going to happen. Now, we've had 300 downloads of a show. We've had over 400 downloads of a show, but not in one day. I mean, one day downloads.
And not in like an afternoon, nonetheless.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking a matter of, like 8 hours that the numbers quadrupled.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely remarkable. So, I kind of threw it out there, like, hey, maybe we might actually hit that 400 mark. And sure enough, we actually did. And so Tony, what was the final number of downloads for today?
Well, there's a 4 and there's a 0 in this 3-digit number. Can you guess what it is?
Well, I had asked if we hit the 500 mark, and you kind of, I'm reading between the lines.
It starts with a 4.
Oh, it starts with a 4, and there's a 0.
Yep.
So 490.
Buzz.
Oh.
See, anticlimactic. You should always go low, and then I can say, no, it was 450. And I don't understand why, because our previous high was 280 downloads in one day. Why is it why does it end in a 0? Why can't you got a 1 in 10 chance of it being another number? But both of our highs, the first high was 280, or I shouldn't say the first high. 1 was our first high. So 280 was our previous high, and that's whenever Dan over the 4x4 podcast helped us out and stuck his interview that we did with him on his site, and gave us a lot of extra eyes or ears that listened to his show as that didn't listen to ours. And that's how we got the 280, but this time we got 450, Josh. 450.
Absolutely remarkable. So if you guys out there in the sound of my hearing the sound of my voice had anything to do with that, thank you very much. Keep up that good work, and let everybody know about the XJ Talk Show and get them to start downloading too. Let's see if we can't break 1,000. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we could get really cocky and obnoxious. I mean, more so if we had 1,000 downloads for each show. Hey, so I was going to mention this on last night on Tony and Josh show, and I forgot about it. There's been a scientific study that shows that even crappy songs can be likable if you listen to them enough times. Now, does this sound familiar as far as these radio stations that play these crappy songs over and over and over again because they're paid to?
Mm-hmm.
We get used to it, and we start going, oh, well, I'm used to that. That sounds pretty good, and you start liking it. I'm thinking we could do the same thing with this show, damn it, Josh. We just got to get more people listening to it over and over again.
Broadcast 5 days a week.
All right, guys. Well, it's a late night for Josh, and I have an early morning because I'm going to be going into the office to do some hardware maintenance an hour early.
Cool. So let's wrap this up, bust out a promo, and I might still have a chance to get to bed on time tonight.
No, I don't think so. It's but it's a hell of a it's great that you're positive. It's great that you got that positive attitude.
Eternal optimist.
So, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and but thanks for sticking with us. I hope you found that it was worth it. And 4-liter Jeeper was late. He was late even though the show started like 30 minutes late. That's bad.
I told him, I was like, that's okay. We were late too.
No, go for the guilt, man. You have to go for the guilt.
How dare you?
So you guys have a great night. Thanks for sticking with us. And maybe I'll have an extension cord run for the big light that I have here in front of me for next week, so we don't have to delay things. Anyway, thanks a lot, and we'll catch you later. Don't forget to download the show on Monday.
See ya.